Disney's entrance into the culture wars doesn't appear to be hurting their bottom line just yet. The company claims its streaming service, Disney Plus, is now on its way to exceeding Netflix's subscriber numbers in the coming years. Still, a growing backlash from conservatives could ultimately derail the company's ambitions here. The Post-Millennial reports many longtime Disney fans are reportedly canceling trips and subscriptions in great numbers recently due to concerns of the company's woke take on several current issues. Author and columnist David Marcus has just returned from Disney World in Orlando, Florida. He joins us now to share his thoughts. David, thanks for being with us.
Hey, Buck, how you doing?
So what's it like down there? I don't think, maybe I went when I was a little kid. I don't remember it though. Disney World, how is it? Are the wokesters really running the show?
It wasn't for me, Buck, but the answer to your question is no. What I was struck by being down there in the resort and sort of around the park was that there was a real disconnect between this progressive trans ideology that you're hearing from the diversity team and the executives and what you saw on the ground. I mean, on the ground, the little girls were dressed as princesses, the little boys were dressed as superheroes. You know, the moms had sparkly, Disney ears, and they were buying all of these very gendered things at the gift shop, right? So it was very clear to me that Disney is not trying to implement this extraordinarily woke and progressive agenda in the face of the crowds at the park. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
So this is fascinating right now, David. I mean, your piece, which is on foxnews.com, says that despite the fevered dreams of the diversity team recently exposed on a Zoom call demanding more non-binary characters, at the resort, little girls are still princesses, the boys still smack each other around with lightsabers, and even the adults hew to gender norms. So now I'm sure there are people who would say to you, David, well, not yet, but that the transformation is underway as evidence from that Zoom call. So, I mean, do you think, it feels like we don't ever see these things until it's too late, right? And a lot of people didn't realize the trans agenda would in fact result in the NCAA 500-meter women's champion in swimming being a man, being a biological male. Just on the corporate side of things, do you think that they're beginning that process of trying to institute, to essentially eradicate these gender norms you say that are still existing? Or are they just virtue signaling for each other and recognize that America's actually not with them? Like, you still do want to go and see Disney princesses and kids with lightsabers, etc.
I mean, I think that's the balance that they're trying to walk, and I think they made a really bad bet here in going all in against the Florida Parental Rights Bill, because I think at the time at which they were contemplating doing that, the Democrats had called it this "Don't Say Gay" bill, which was obviously a complete lie. But what we started seeing about a week or two ago was polling that actually showed people the legislation. And like even Democrats support it. So really quickly, I think that the Democrats and the wokesters at Disney wound up on the wrong side of this particular issue. And I do think that they're going to be very careful about putting this into their products and into their parks, because that's the financial risk, right? The real financial risk is not boycotts or protests. It's that their product becomes so woke that people stop buying it.
Don't miss American Scandal, Hunter Biden. A new First TV exclusive special hosted by Buck Sexton. Available right now only on the First TV app.